all to come on. Hopefully, phone's been ringing a lot this morning, so I'm hoping my battery doesn't run out. I'm going to say hello to you all, have my cup of tea before I start doing the makeup and telling you what I'm going to do. My cup of tea, look, Alison. Right, I'm feeling quite tired today, and I'll tell you why in a minute. A bit run down, a bit tired. And I thought, do you know what? I was trying to think about what to do. Hello there, Rebecca. Hello, Stacey. And I was thinking, this is a good day to do Trini because I'm feeling tired and I just don't feel like bending down to get brushes, etc., etc. Now, the update. The reason I'm kind of feeling tired, don't know what's causing it, but on Tuesday, we were going to visit my dad in the nursing home. And before you go, have to do a lateral flow test. My sister and I did a test and we both came up positive. So we had to immediately self-isolate. Hello there, Emma. Immediately self-isolate and then order a PCR test, which is the laboratory test to confirm or not confirm. And so that came yesterday morning and I'm waiting for the results. So yes, I've been double vaccinated and more than 2 months ago, but I had a positive lateral flow test and I am in isolation. And I've been feeling a bit achy and a bit of a gritty throat, but do you know what? The mind is a very powerful thing. If a test result tells you you might have something, you start to become, it's not like, people have got the wrong idea about hypochondria. It's not that you're imagining it. It's more like, I think that when you have, thank you, Shahina, when you have a test result that says, hey, you got positive COVID test, and I am absolutely convinced that the laboratory test is going to come back negative. I just don't really believe it. But when you get this positive test, you then start to focus in on everything. And of course, I have pain every day. I have chronic pain. So it's just made me more aware of it. But I didn't sleep well last night. I think because I'm worrying about when I'm going to be able to visit my dad. Exactly. Because we can't go anywhere near my dad now. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit rough, but it may not necessarily mean that that test was correct. It could just be the stress. To be quite honest, I'm going to be furious if it's negative because it's just disrupted the entire week. We couldn't visit my dad and I couldn't go and have my foot seen to today, and that's starting to play up. So in some ways, I'll be reassured if it's positive because that means that I haven't wasted the week for nothing, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so I thought today, because I'm feeling tired, I woke up at 4 in the morning, feeling a bit achy, either because I've got COVID or because I'm just stressed out about all the disruptions and everything else. And I've got a prescription to pick up that I can't pick up. I thought today's a good day to revisit Trini London because a few of you have asked about Trini London and I kind of feel like I don't want to be fiddling around with too many brushes. So it's a perfect day for Trini London. So I'm going to do a full face of Trini London and chat to my Ali Pallies, who I love dearly. So first of all, I'm going to find my BFF. Yes, I'm going to ring them up. But do you know what, Shahina? I will do. But I'm going to wait till this PCR test comes back. Because if that comes back negative, it cancels your isolation. And you can go out and get them yourself. So, but yeah, if it comes back positive and I've got to remain isolated till the 2nd of July, then I'll definitely do that. Now, this BFF cream is a little bit old now, and since I bought this, they've updated my Match to Me. Does everyone know what I'm talking about when I say Match to Me? I shall do a quick recap in case you don't. So we're doing all Trini London today. So they've updated my Match to Me and told me that I need dark BFF, not medium. And I'm intrigued to get some. But I'm trying to be good because I've got quite a few sunscreens and bases now. But the medium's fine. So this is the first step of the kind of Trini London. So this is an SPF of 30. And just to explain what Match to Me is. So Trini London invented this great way of kind of helping take the stress out of buying makeup, which is basically they ask you a series of questions, you input them, and then it comes up with your matches. And it claims to be very accurate. I say claims to be because when I did it, it came out with the wrong foundation shade. And when I actually went to Trini London, they said you're a shade darker than the one I matched myself to. But it was still close. So this is the BFF. Now, this is not to be confused with the Bff Serum, because she's gradually brought out more and more products, which in a way is great because the products are great, but in a way it takes away a little bit from the original concept, because the original concept was to have a couple of stacks in your bag and a tube and you were good to go. And she's bringing in so many more products that people's stacks are like this long and they're not portable anymore. But anyway, I'm going to show you as much as I can just for the sake of explaining to you what they all are. So the BFF cream is an SPF 30. And it comes in about 5 or 6 different shades. So it's I've always said it's very similar to Charlotte Tilbury's Unisex Healthy Glow, except that Unisex Healthy Glow does not have sunscreen in it and it doesn't come in different shades. But it's very similar in the terms of the feel and the fact that it's got a little bit of pigment in there that will even out your complexion, but perhaps not quite as much as Unisex Healthy Glow. Okay, so that's your first step. And as you can see, it's very good. It does that first. It's quite sheer, so it's not going to really correct pigmentation or anything. Now, I'm just going to look at... Yes, you can have a false positive. Yes. I think the thing that freaked us out is that my sister came over to go to the home with me, and both of our tests came out as positive. But Jack's has been negative all along. I think if one of them had come out positive and not the other, we'd have been more likely to feel that it was a kind of false positive, maybe a glitch in the test, or maybe, not wash my hands properly or something. But the fact that both of them came out, and of course, we're not going to take that risk with visiting Dad. So, or visiting a hospital, quite frankly. I just would not want to be responsible. And of course, Jack's loving it because he's had the rest of the week off school until I get confirmation one way or the other. Right, now, the next step is the BFF Serum. Now, I have to say, I do love this. This is really great, especially for the summer. So, the BFF Serum is a recent release, which is basically, it's a foundation, but it's more coverage than this BFF. So the idea is you put this on first, which is your sunscreen with a little bit of pigment. But this is like a serum and a foundation in one, and it does look beautiful. And the great thing about this, I think Jane said this once when she recommended it to me, is that it actually looks better as the day goes on. And it's better that you put this on with your hands, because it's like a serum. Can you see? So I'm going to do half of my face. Now, I am the shade Leslie, I think, in this. Is it Leslie? Now, it's called De-Stress. I'm sure it's Leslie. I can't see the shade on here. Let's see. Where's the shade name? Very odd. Can't see the shade name, but I'm sure I'm Leslie. Yeah, Leslie, I found it. The idea of this is it's got stuff in it. It's a hybrid skincare makeup that de-stresses the skin. I just put some vitamin C on earlier from it's actually a very affordable vitamin C, but it can pill a bit, so you're probably noticing a bit of pilling. The Inky List one. I want to do another Paula's Choice order, but I always get sucked in by their free offers. And I only really want to get one thing, which is their retinol. But I go in and they've always got such great offers that I end up spending more. Right, so that is the BFF De-Stress, which gives you a bit more coverage than the BFF on its own. And that, together with the BFF, looks really pretty on the skin. Now, if you get to this point, I actually think that's enough for the summer. But if you get to this point, you think, well, I still want a little bit more coverage or a bit of concealer, then she does what's called Just a Touch. And that's the thing that obviously is crucial in working out what your shade is. Now, the other thing about the stacks is when you've got loads of them, you can't actually figure out which is which because they all look the same. And I've been planning on organising my stacks. How am I finding the CT serum? Is it worth the price, would you say? Do you mean this one? You mean the SPF? I love it. I tell you why. It's a really good base under makeup and it gives you that top up of SPF 50. But, as I said in my video, I wouldn't exclusively use it because you're going to run out of it pretty quickly. But it is a really beautiful primer. And with an SPF of 50, I don't think I've had a primer that's got an SPF 50 in it that is as good as that. Yeah. So if you're looking for a really good primer for your makeup, which also got the benefit of SPF 50, then yes, I would. But I just think that it's not very good value for money in that there's only 30 mils in it. That's my only, what I tend to do is I'll get up in the morning, I put on my skincare and I put on my SPF upstairs. And then I drop Jack off at school and then I come and put my makeup on. And that's when I'll put that one on. So it's good to top up and put under makeup, definitely. Now, I'm looking for my Just a Touch. Bear with me, guys. Not that one. Because they all look the same, it really does get quite confusing. Aha, I think it's... There we are. Bex. So I am Bex. And I will show you what Bex looks like. Because it's difficult to show you with the serums and stuff, but... So originally, this was a foundation and concealer until she brought out this new product, the Bff Serum. Yeah, except it's a very good price. You see, I think it's basically typically the kind of SPF I'd expect Charlotte Tilbury to bring out. because it's more focused on being a great base for makeup. And makeup does sit beautifully under it. Over it, I mean. Right, there's Beck's. That's Beck's. So that's my... And I was matched at Trinny London. I went to her house when they were doing the initial makeovers. There's lots of very good sunscreens out there, and I'm going to do a sunscreen. Now, I filmed something the other day, which I will put out shortly. It's all ready to go out on this glow stick. I'll put some on in a minute. This is SPF 50. This is more for top-ups. It's a glow stick that it gives you a lovely kind of wet glow over your makeup. But it's got an SPF 50. And the good thing is that the bits you want to glow are the bits that you want the greatest sun protection. Because that's the bit that's nearest the sun, that catches the sun. So it's quite good. But I did do a video on it, and I just haven't put it out yet. So I'll put that out shortly. So I'm just dabbing some of this Beck's around my eyes. And in areas that I just want a little bit more coverage. So the idea with this was never to slap it all over your face. It's a little pot of quite solid cream. And it's quite pigmented. But the idea is that you dot this around areas that you want a bit more coverage. So as I said, that just repeating myself, the great thing is that when Trinny London started, there weren't that many products. And it was quite kind of, right, you got your BFF and you've got your sunscreen and you've got your lip to cheek and your eye makeup and you're good to go. She's brought out it's been so popular, and she's brought out so many new products now that I think it's sort of, you don't need them all. But I think people have got to the point where they've ended up buying lots of them, and it's defeated the object of what they initially bought it for, which was to cut down on steps. I'm just going to cover up some of my cheek peaks just to show you what this can look like. So I'm doing all this with my fingers. Oh, Emma, so do I. I did look at Lisa Eldridge and I thought, I really can't justify it at the moment. I had a massive blowout, as you know, in my birthday month. So the odd couple of things, but I really can't justify buying lipstick, for example. As much as I'd love another lipstick by Lisa Eldridge, I really don't need one. So that is the Just a Touch. And then she's got this, and again, this is where it doubles up. She's got this BFF. Now, this one, again, is old. It now comes in a tube, a sort of miniature version of that with a lid on it. But just so that you can see what this looks like, that is Davinia. And I think now that they've put them in tubes, they've called it something else. They've called all the names something else as well. But I don't really need to put that on now because I've put on Just a Touch. But I'll just show you. It is very cooling on the eyes. And it is a very popular product. I think specifically now that this product is now in a tube. But if you've got any questions about Trinny products, I've got most of them. Because I did, like when she first started, I went to her house and I bought tons of different products to try. So do let me know if you've got any questions. Right, so that, I'll put a little bit of the eye serum. This is, what do they call it? The BFF eye, that's right. So that's that. Now, if you feel that you've got shiny bits, right, this is where there's all sorts of different products. And I know I've done this before, but I haven't done it for a while. So I'm going to try and work through the different types of products she's got, if that's all right with everyone. because I'm in a let's put everything on with my fingers mood today. Now, somewhere here, but I don't know whether I'm going to... Ah, here we go. She's also got this thing called Miracle Blur. Now, Miracle Blur is kind of a silicone product like this. And it kind of... You can put this on and it kind of will blur out fine lines. Because it fills them in. So where I've got those lines on my forehead, it's a very innovative product. It'll just fill them in a bit. And this one is particularly good. I think she marketed it. I don't really, thankfully, touch wood, don't have lines around my lips really at the moment. But she marketed it to put around your lips if you've got those kind of smoker's lines. Right, so that's that one. And that's the other thing. I always lose the lids on these things because they're on a stack. And then there is this face finish. Now, I love face finish, which is quite... I think face finish is very similar to Miracle Blur because, again, it is a kind of silicone product, perhaps a bit stiffer than Miracle Blur. But what face finish is kind of your cream version of powder to take the shine off. So here, like, you don't really want shine there. Because as Charlotte Tilbury said in her masterclass, that's kind of what ages you, is if you got shine around that area. Because it just emphasises those nasolabial folds. So this will just take down the shine like a powder. And it's great because you can take this in your pocket and kind of top this up throughout the day, and it never gets cakey like powder. Never. Can you see how it's just taking that shine off? You spent a fortune on Nina, on Trini London, have you? I just felt in the mood today to put everything on with my fingers because I am feeling very tired. Right. So that is the face finish. Then she's got all sorts of other things. I'm just going to pull them out. She has got... I love this product. This is your contour. And it's grey, which is great. Because you look at that and think, you're not going to put that on your face, but I am. Yeah, face finish is a very... Even, you know, face finish is a handy product to have, even if you don't use anything else in the range. Because you can just dab it on with your fingers and it doesn't get cakey like powder. So, this face finish is your contour for your face, believe it or not. But it's great because it looks like a shadow and it's different to her bronzer. So, I'm going to show you. So, if I suck in my cheeks and follow the hollow, but don't forget to start off here, not here. Don't swipe it up because you want more of the shadow this end, all right? But it will just mimic that shadow and accentuate it. You see what I mean? I'm getting a bit of a frog in my throat and I'm thinking, oh, is that test going to come back positive too? But can you see? It will just accentuate the shadow. It doesn't look grey. It looks like a shadow. It's absolutely ingenious. It's very like... So if you... A few weeks ago, I talked to you about the Kevin Aucoin sculpting thing that was more grey than bronzer. Because a lot of people put bronzer on to sculpt and it doesn't work because... when you're sculpting, you need something to look like a shadow. You don't need it to look brown. And I actually even can get away with using this. She never did this, but you can do it on your nose. Oh, do they? 3 free samples. Oh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. So you get 3 free samples with your order. That's fantastic. And then we have the bronzer, she says, if I can find it. They're not bronzers. They're eyeshadows. Right. I do generally have them. Let's do the highlighter. Now, the annoying thing about the highlighter, I'm a bit annoyed with Trini about this, is that when her brand first came out, there was only one highlighter called Starlight. And I always thought it was a bit cool for me. But it was one for everyone, Starlight. It was the only one she did, the highlighter. Now she's got about 3, and one of the other ones is actually is in my match to me and not this. And I think that's naughty, that when you've only got 1 available, it's in your match to me. But when you've got 3, they suddenly change it and say that's not in your match to me. And I agree, it probably isn't quite the right one for me. But it would be great if you've got fairer skin. It's not bad, but I would have preferred one of the warmer ones, I think. So this is the highlighter, Starlight. But I think they've sampled a lot more women now, and that's made them update some of the products and some of the choices and some of the things that they recommend on the match to me, which I suppose is good that they do that. They've got more feedback from women. So you can put this anywhere where you would normally put highlighter. You can pop some under your brow bone. You can pop it in here. You get the idea. And I think she's got 3 highlighters now. There's a sort of warmer gold one. There's this one, and there's a one for very dark skin. Now, I was looking for Sawala, which is the bronzer, which I will find next. Here we are, Sawala. So Sawala is the bronzer, and again, I think she does 2 bronzers, maybe 3, depending on your skin tone, and this is the one in my match to me. So this is the bronzer. Perfect shade for me as a bronzer. And you see, I'm putting the bronzer higher than I would put the sculptor. I'm putting it where the sun would hit rather than underneath. So you can put a bit across your nose, but you're not using it as a sculptor. Anywhere where the sun, like the top of the forehead where the sun would normally hit. Like that, and it's just going to warm you up. Or maybe you can put some under here, because I like to put bronzer under here because my face is darker than the rest of my body. And of course you can use this to kind of sculpt. Now, can you see, because I've got hooded lids, anything I put on my eyes that's cream does that. That's the only thing about these products, except her eyeshadows. A lot of her darker eyeshadows don't do that. So in a minute, I'm going to put one of her eyeshadows over. But you can use this to kind of, if you just want to put a minimal makeup. The other thing I really want to get makeup-wise is that MAC have brought out some more Pro Longwear paint pots in some really nice colours. I'm so tempted to get those because I love MAC paint pots. It kind of reminded me looking at these. So that's basically your bronzer. And then you've got cheek products, you've got lip to cheek, and you've got cheek alone products. But to be honest, any lipstick you can put on your cheek, any cheek stuff you can put on your lips. It's just she markets some for lip and cheek and she markets some just for cheek. So I'll tell you what I'm going to put on because I do love this one. If I can find it. She's got a lovely peachy toned blush that is one of my favourites actually. And it will go well with what I'm wearing because I'm wearing navy blue and a kind of cream coloured skirt, kind of a bit navy, you know, in the navy type thing. You don't like Trini London? So overpriced. Yeah, I do think it's so. AA saying it's so overpriced for what you get, won't repurchase Trini London. I think, hello, I keep looking for you. I was looking for you yesterday. I think, AA, you got a good point. I think it's a concept, Trini London. And I do think, if you were to think, oh, I'm getting a pot of eye cream for 25 quid. Actually, her eye cream's at £18. But her lipsticks are 25. They do seem very expensive for what they are. I think it's the concept that she's selling, and that's why she kind of manages, and they do last a long time. That's very true. So the concept of just having this stack that you can take out and about, I think that's the concept she's selling. But if anyone bought out a lipstick like that and said, I'm selling it for 25 quid, then yeah, I think it is expensive. So I'm kind of a bit on the fence. I kind of agree with you, and I kind of think, well, yeah, it's the concept, and as the concept, I can kind of get where. But if you look at each individual product, it is expensive. There's no getting away from that. I do like the fact that her eyeshadows are cheaper, and I'm not quite sure why. The lipsticks and the blush have no staying power. Yeah, actually, the lipsticks. Have you tried the... there are all sorts of different lip ones. The lip... Oh, what's the really pigmented ones? There's all sorts of different lip products. There's lip glow and lip this and lip that, lip love, and I'll find it in a minute. I've got one called Pookie, which seems to last a long time, but that's one of her more pigmented ones. I agree, some of the lip and cheeks don't last very long at all. Now, I'm still looking for this blush. Where are you, blush? I think there's some really hero products that are kind of, you know, you could get away with just getting some things like you were saying, the face finish. You know, that sounds an interesting product. You don't, I think because of this stack ID, you feel like you've got to get everything, but you don't. You know, I think that's the thing. And also you can buy empty stacks and put your own stuff in them. And that's really handy. So you could buy 3 empty stacks and put something else in them, and if you like the concept but you're not as keen on the products, it's just another thought. Now I still can't find, this is annoying me because I really wanted to put that blush on, and it's probably, here it is, Wigs. I love this blush. You can get it at Muji, can you? Oh, thank you, AA. That's really handy to know. So they're like Muji jars, the stackable jars. And I bet you they're cheaper than Trini sells them for. Thank you, AA. I do like Wigs because it just gives you that nice peachy pink natural glow. It's also worth noting that when you look at some of the models wearing the makeup, that their eye makeup's been put on with brushes, even though the concept is, I mean, there's nothing to stop you putting them on with brushes, but be aware that it's not all been put on with the fingers. But when Trini does the demonstrations, Trini puts most of it on with her fingers. I just love that. I don't know why. It's not, it doesn't look like a blush. It just looks, I like blushes that don't look too much like blushes. It doesn't last long. Yeah, I suppose there's a lot of oil content in them, isn't there? I like darker eyeshadows. I do like, because I found that they don't crease. However, saying that, the one that I got, one of her lighter ones, Sun, always creases, and it's a lot thinner texture. But the darker ones, I'm going to show you, for example. I'm going to put, let me put on Empress. So this is, she's got a number of eyeshadows, and she's got different formulas. But this eyeshadow, it doesn't do that on me. You see, all creams normally do that. But I find that her eyeshadows, because they're stiffer, they don't do it. This reminds me of a paint pot by MAC that they stopped selling, called Rubenesque. Does anyone remember that one? They've stopped doing it now. But it's very similar to Rubenesque by MAC. They're long wear paint pots. And then you can just take your little pinky and use them to line. That's the other thing. She's brought out some darker shades that you can use as liners, but you can use any of them as liners. It's just, again, encouraging you to buy more products. But actually, you can use this as a liner. You just get your pinky and you dab it a bit more intensely on the lash line. So I think the thing to remember is, if you're interested in Trini, is don't get sucked into thinking you've got to buy all the products, because the concept is actually better. You're going to use it more as a concept if you've got less things. So, you know, I've been meaning to set this up. I've got a little makeup bag, set something like that up in my car that I can quickly dab some makeup on. Like if I pull in somewhere and I haven't had chance beforehand. Like I'll often, for example, take Jack to school, haven't had chance to put my makeup on, just take my tablets, have a cup of tea. And then from Jack's school, I go straight on to my foot health so that I can get through the traffic. But then I've got like a 20-minute wait in the car park before I go in. And then I like to put a bit of makeup on. I don't put makeup on when I'm driving, by the way. For things like that, this is great, because you can just have your stack in the car and you can quickly dot something on and look quite made up, but without it looking too over the top. I'm definitely going to have a look at Muji now. Thank you very much. That's a great tip. Because the other thing she brought out, and I did get one, is the mirror lid, which is great because you got your stack and then you got your mirror on the top. So that's that's Empress. I could dot some other eyeshadows over. Let me see. I'll show you Sun, but the problem is that Sun does actually crease on me. I'll dot a little bit in the centre of my lid. Oh, and I got this one recently, but it wasn't as good as I expected. It's a bit too glittery, this one. This one's called Queen. It's quite too similar as well to Empress, I think. But this one's Sun, and I love this, but as I said, it's not quite as stiff as the others, and it does crease a bit. But if I just put some in the centre of my eye, then it, you know, my mobile lid, then it might not. And of course, just because it's called an eyeshadow doesn't mean I couldn't use that as a highlighter and make it a bit more gold. Pigment is pigment. I'm going to put some of that in here. See, so it's really a good way to kind of least fuss making yourself up. Again, if you were staying away for a weekend and you just didn't want to take a lot of baggage with you, I go through phases of using it a lot and then not using it quite as much. Right, and then I wanted to show you Pookie, because it's one of my favourite. There's two that I like. There's two lipsticks that I love. One is Cha Cha, which is a true coral. It's like, so think Tom Ford's True Coral and Hot Emily. Cha Cha, and it's named after the Cha Cha who did me up when I went to Trini. You're doing your housework. So look, that is lovely, and actually that would go with what I'm wearing. That is that is a lip to cheek. But as I said, you can put any of them on your cheek, really. So that I like. I love that one. That's one of my favourites. And the other one that is the real star for me, I love it, and I only got it recently, is Pookie. So much so it's still in the box, but I keep taking it out and putting it back in the box for some reason, because I don't want it to get mixed up, I think, with the others. That's Pookie. I love Pookie. I'm going to put Pookie on. I'm in a Pookie mood. And this one is called Lip Luxe. Oh, thank you, Nina. Lip Luxe. So the Lip Luxes, I've got a bit more pigment in than some of the others. So have a look at the Lip Luxes if you haven't tried them, because I think they last a little bit longer. So I'll show you this Pookie one next to Cha Cha. You can see there's more pigment. It's more opaque than that. I'm going to put this on. You love Swaney. I want to get Demon, because you know I love a blue red. I'm not as keen on orangey reds, even though they are recommended and it's on my match to me. You can do whatever you like, Stacey, while you watch me. Within reason. Just, you can do whatever you like, but there's certain things I'd rather you didn't tell me about, like if you were watching me on the loo. Somebody wrote to me once and said, I'm watching you while I'm at the airport, waiting to go on a business meeting. And she described exactly where she was. She was in America, and she said, I'm in the departure lounge. And it was great because I could imagine her sitting there, and it just blew my mind, thinking there's a woman right now in an airport in America in a departure lounge watching little old me. It was great. I loved it. So if you ever watch me in an unusual place, do let me know, because I love to hear about that. Or if you're out in a public place and you're watching me, you know, sat in Covent Garden or something like that, just let me know, because I'd love to know. So there, I love this. Pookie. Now, obviously, I've put this on with my fingers, so it's not quite as smooth on the outside there, but never mind. It will do. Now, I did treat myself a while back to... I love gadgets and I love things that make life easier. I'm a sucker for them, right? And I probably don't need them now because I'm not working. I'm not out and about a lot, but I've still got in my mind I've got to get to work and drop Jack off at school. And, you know, I've got this busy working life and I haven't. But I still am a sucker for things that make life easier when you're doing a million things. And I got these. If I had to choose, I would get face finish. I think face finish, you can face finish has got the silicone in anyway, so it will blur fine lines. And I think it lasts longer. The Miracle Blur is softer, so it'll fill in sort of, well, you can see, look, it will fill in the lines, but it's quite slidey, whereas the face finish, I just think you get more use out of face finish because it's a sort of, it will take the shine off your face. Now, I don't want to get makeup over this, but I got her Elizabeth bag. I'm not going to take it out there because I've got too much stuff over my hands. But it's a perfect size for your stack. But I also got the mirror. Oh, I got a teapot. Oh, that was for my BFF. I got the mirror that clips on somewhere. I don't know where that is. Oh, here it is. I'll show you the mirror. So I've been meaning to organise a stack and put it in my car. I love this. This is great. So this comes in a little pouch. Not that you're going to use that, because you basically stick it onto the top of your stack. It clicks onto the top of your stack, and you've got a mirror that is magnifying, and a normal mirror. So it's really good that you can just quickly look at yourself in that. Love that. Love it. Anything like that. And then you see it just clicks onto the top there. Thank you. I knew I was in the mood for Pookie today. And Cha-Cha would look good as well. Cha-Cha is a really nice... Do you want me to show you Cha? I'll show you Cha-Cha before I come off. And I'll put Pookie back on because I am in the mood for Pookie. But the other thing I got... Now, this is really expensive, really, for what it is. But again, I'm a sucker for things that make life easier. And it's very similar. There's another one out that's quite similar to this that Daniel Sandler sells. This is a tea brush. So you've got some little brushes, and they're very good in that the magnet is very strong, so that it's not going to come apart. But you've got little brushes there, 4 brushes in one. Daniel Sandler has got one on his website that's similar idea to this, and it's by another makeup artist who again appeared on telly a lot in the 90s, and Ruby Hammer. Wow, I'm amazed that I remembered her name. So Ruby Hammer, and her one is £28. I've forgotten how much the Trini one was. But so yeah, I got that. I'm terrible for little gimmicks like that, but I love gimmicks. I love, love, love gimmicks. Right, I'm going to show you Cha-Cha. Let me just get a wipe. Yes, she did, didn't she? Ruby Hammer bought hers out first. I should get it and compare them, really. Right, I'm just going to show you Chacha. I'm talking to people on my live, darling. Of course, Jack's at home because we're all both in quarantine. This one, I'm going to have to disinfect and spray all of these if my PCR comes back as positive, because I've dipped my fingers in all of them, but I've got spray to do that. Come and say hello.
2 meters apart.
Ah, they're all saying hello. Ah, it's made by the same manufacturers, Trini's. Probably no point in me getting the other one then, because they're probably exactly the same. So this is Chacha. Nina's saying hi, Jack.
Hello.
Terry's saying, I miss seeing you, Jack. His voice is breaking now. Come and say hello so they can see you. He's very tall, very grown up looking now. So that's Chacha. Very, very similar to Hot Emily by Charlotte Tilbury. And that actually looks nice on the cheeks as well. I'll put a little dot there, just in the centre. Don't embarrass the poor lad. That's the mother's job, to embarrass her son.
She's not wrong about that.
That's the job of a mother. Right, so you've seen Chacha now, but I'm going to put Pookie back on because I'm in a Pookie mood. And I'm definitely putting Pookie in the car because it's one of those lipsticks that you put on and it immediately brightens up your face. I don't know if it's this camera, but my lips look like they're blue. I must do my oxygen saturation. Is it me imagining things? Do my lips look blue to you? Is this just the power of suggestion because I had a positive lateral flow test? Do my lips look blue? Or am I just imagining it? Right, I've got an oximeter in a minute, so I'll do do people know about oximeters and COVID? Yeah, okay, I'm not imagining it then. So you can buy an oximeter, you know, the things that they put on your finger in hospital. And I got one in the pandemic because all my family that are nurses and ICU said get one. Because you can have a very low oxygen level and not realise it with COVID. But I shouldn't get ill, even if I've got it. It's it's unlikely that I would get ill, even if I've got it, because I've had 2 jabs more than a month ago. Yeah. But that's telling me I should do my oxygen sats. Right, Pookie will cover up the blue. And I'm not going to bother with that mascara. But can you see that eyeshadow has not creased? So I do think the eyeshadows are worth it, actually, if you want a cream eyeshadow. But I would stick to the darker ones because for some reason, the lighter ones that I've tried do crease, whereas the darker ones don't. So things like Empress and Chariot, really, really good. Don't crease on hooded lids at all. So anyway, I hope that's been helpful. I did do a Trini a while back. I hope I haven't repeated it too soon. and I've given you some information. I did get, just to show you as well, I did get my package through the post. Mystery boxes. No, I didn't even hear about them. Thank you. I did get my bespoke foundation in the post with my...
Mystery boxes.
No, this... Stacey's asking, did anyone get a Charlotte Tilbury mystery box? But I'm being a good girl. I'm not ordering too much Charlotte Tilbury at the moment. This is my Decipher foundation. So I've got the custom high pigment drops and the foundation. And then they put in this little card, which is your analysis of your skin tone. And thank you to those that used my code, because not only did it give you £10 off, but it gave me another £10 off if I reorder. So thank you to those of you that bought the Decipher foundation and used my referral code, because I now got some nice credits sitting in my Decipher. I'm going to have a look. No, I didn't see any of those. I missed out on that completely, Stacey. Right, I'm going to go, let you go. And Jack and I are about to order some groceries to be delivered, because, of course, we can't leave the house yet. So thank you all for joining me. I will keep you updated on whether or not it is confirmed that I have COVID or not. I suspect I don't. I suspect it was a false positive. But we shall see. All right, take care. Have a lovely day. And I'll see you all very soon. And as usual, Shahina is lovely and remembering to tell you all to like the live. Thank you so much. I'll see you all very soon. And coming up next is my first impression review of Super Goop Glow Stick SPF 50. See you soon. Bye. Mwah.